I love tech and I love to travel. In fact, I used to travel a lot. I spent the better part of a decade traveling for my day job. Along the way, I developed some pretty strong preferences when it comes to what I carry along with me in my travel bag. And today, we're going to explore what that looks like in 2025. The good news is that you're not going to have to sit through a bunch of camera gear and lenses like a bunch of other YouTubers might focus on. That may be what they carry around, but you probably don't make videos like me, so we're just going to focus on what we all can use every day. Each item that I cover will be linked in the video description below if you happen to find something that you like. Make sure you comment below which picks you like, where you might disagree with my picks, and anything that I missed. And with that, let's jump into my tech travel bag. Starting with the bag itself, this is the only item that won't have a link in the video description because it's really old. This is just a simple day pack from REI. You may think of it as just a school backpack. It's got a laptop section in the back, plus 2 other main compartments and some organization in the front. It gives me everything that I've needed in a basic travel backpack for the last 10 years. Like I said, this thing is pretty old. But unfortunately, because of its age, I can't point you to a place to purchase this particular bag, but there are plenty of options out there from brands like REI, The North Face, Patagonia, and more. Next up is my phone. Now, before I ran a tech channel full time, I was upgrading my iPhone every 2 or 3 years, and I really think that that's the sweet spot for most people. Today, though, I'm typically running whatever the latest version is so that I can comment on the developments in real time and let you guys know what I think. This is the current generation iPhone 16 Pro, but perhaps more importantly, the case here is the ESR Classic Hybrid case with stash stand. Now, ESR sent this over to me to review it, and I've genuinely loved it. The material is great, the stash stand is really cool. It's the metal part around the cameras, which pops out to serve as a stand. It's super innovative. On the back of the case is the Peak Design Stand Wallet. I am obsessed with this wallet, and I have been for some time. It holds several cards, and it's super easy to take them out. It magnets onto any MagSafe compatible phone or phone case, and it even pops out to serve as a stand, which can go in both vertical and horizontal orientations. It is just super awesome. It has revolutionized my everyday carry personally, and it's great for travel because it keeps your phone and your wallet together at all times, so there's only one thing to focus on not losing rather than 2 of them. For my laptop, I'm using the 14-inch M4 Pro MacBook Pro, which is the current generation at this time. This is a recent addition to my setup since my previous M2 Pro model had a bit of a run-in with a cup of water, which broke the screen. Now, I also started this channel with an M1 MacBook Air, which was the topic of my very first video, which at this point is extremely embarrassing. Seriously, how did I think that these colors looked okay? Clearly, this channel has come a long way in the last few years. Overall, despite the fact that I was a lifelong Windows user before purchasing these laptops, these Macs have been incredible. Even after multiple years of use, they show no signs of slowing down, and the Pro models in particular can handle all of the work related to this channel without breaking a sweat. Like, there's fans in here, but I don't think I've ever actually heard them turn on. It's an absolute workhorse overall that's still pretty portable to bring along and super easy to use. I can't recommend them enough. Currently, the MacBook Air with M4 is an easy buy for just about anyone out there. It even got a price drop compared to the previous generation, which is pretty sweet. If you need more power, a Pro model like this will help you to crank through most workloads without much of an issue, but it does come at a much steeper price. In addition to my laptop, I occasionally bring along a secondary display to extend my work. This can be huge when I'm editing on the go, since I can have one screen dedicated to my editing workflow and then another screen for everything else. I've had this Asus Zen screen since 2018 and I still love it. I made a full review video about it recently, and even in 2025, this old monitor is still a great buy, and it's super useful to work on the go since you only need a single USB-C cable to provide both the power for it and the display connection, which is super clutch if you need a little bit of extra screen real estate but don't want to carry around a bunch of extra stuff. I typically don't travel with a keyboard. I'm quite comfortable just working from a laptop keyboard when on the go, which is actually why I prefer low-profile mechanical keyboards, because it's easier to just switch back and forth when you return. However, a big part of this channel is keyboard related. So for this video, I had to include my go-to travel keyboard for the occasions when I do actually bring one along. But first of all, I needed something to bring the keyboard in. Now this is the Logitech MX keyboard sleeve, which is a solid option made of felt. Keyboard sleeves and other travel cases isn't an area I've done extensive research on, but I've been happy with this overall, and it's universal, unlike some of the brand-specific ones like Newfie's Newfolio. Inside is a keyboard that nearly broke me in my time reviewing it. Today, I'm picking it because when I'm traveling, I don't know where I'm going to be working from, so I want to prioritize being quiet. And even though there are a bunch of new keyboards coming out very soon in 2025 that include options for silent switches, this one takes it today. Now this is the Lo-Free Flow Lite, specifically with the Hades silent switches, which you can hear are quite quiet. Now this keyboard is great, but as I pointed out in my review, you can't get the Hades switches pre-installed at the time of purchase, so you wind up having to buy them separately. Now thankfully, they did actually lower the price of their switches since I recorded that video, but it still is a total of $160 to get both the switches and this keyboard, which is a little bit steep. But overall, it's a solid keyboard, and to bring something along that is this quiet is perfect. So for today, this is my pick. Thanks for watching up until this point in the video. I wanted to let you know that I am on a mission to get one more subscriber today than I had yesterday. So if you're enjoying this breakdown, you could make that dream come true with just one click. It's easy, it's down below, it's totally free, come on. All right, now that you're all subscribed, next up is the mouse. Now from a size perspective, I was super tempted to include the Keychron M4 since it is so small and it's just an awesome mouse. But I'm sticking to my quiet goal, and those are louder clicks. So unfortunately, I had to rule it out, and instead I'm going with Logitech. Now specifically, this is a Logitech mouse with their Quiet Clicks technology, and it is the Signature Plus M750, which has everything you could need in a mouse. It's got those silent clicks, it's got multi-device pairing, forward and back buttons on the side, plus a bonus button on top, all while being relatively small and ergonomic enough for just 50 bucks. It's a really solid mouse, and in my case, this is the perfect one for me to travel with. Moving over to audio, I can't travel without a good pair of noise-canceling headphones. However, I actually find myself currently in a bit of a transition period with headphones. Now for years, my daily go-to was the Beats Fit Pro, which sounded great, had very good noise cancellation, and actually stayed in my ears with their wingtip design. That is, until they started to break. First, I lost a piece of mesh from inside one of the ears, which impacted the active noise cancellation. Then one of the wingtips actually broke when I was recording another video. So now they're officially retired from daily use. So that leaves me with a decision and currently searching for a new perfect pair for me. In the meantime, I've been carrying around not one, but two different pairs, which is definitely not ideal. First of all, though, I have the AirPods Pro 2s. These are used anytime I need to rely on active noise cancellation. They sound great and have good enough ANC to work on airplanes, which is a big win for me, since that means I can avoid carrying around bulky over-ear headphones. The only issue with AirPods is that they don't stay in my darn ears. So my second pair is the Sony Link Buds Fit. These work great for the gym or for casual listening. They stay in my ear with their wingtip design, and they sound amazing. The only issue with them that prevents them from being my daily drivers is that the ANC is not nearly as good as the AirPods, so they really just don't cut it for me on an airplane. That means at this moment, I've basically got one pair for loud environments and one for quiet. If you've got a recommendation for what could fill this gap for me, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'm probably just holding out until a Beats Fit Pro 2 arrives, hopefully soon. Continuing on with audio, depending on where you're going, you may want a speaker. Whether that's to throw on some music in a hotel room, to jam out at the park, or to party with some friends, bringing along a small portable Bluetooth speaker can make just about any occasion more fun. Now, I'm currently bringing along my favorite, the JBL Flip 7. It's reasonably priced, has solid features, and sounds incredible, all in a very small package that can be tossed into just about any travel bag. Now let's talk about charging. For power, I've begun traveling with the Anker Nano 47-watt charger, which has two USB-C ports on the front. Now there's a classic trade-off with power adapters between power and size. For my personal needs, this strikes that balance perfectly. It is super small, but still has enough juice to power a laptop with 47 watts to a single port, or when you plug in two devices, 20 and 27 watts. Now, along with this, I need to bring some USB-C cables. So for that, I've got two 6-foot USB-C to USB-C cables. In this case, I have the Anchor Nano cable and the Anchor Flow cable, two of my absolute favorites. This has me covered in most use cases. I can charge my MacBook, though not at its maximum charging speed, and I can easily fast charge my phone and other small electronics. For a little more added convenience, I've also been throwing in the Belkin Boost Charge 2-in-1 Qi 2 wireless charger. Doesn't really have a great name, but it's got both the charger on the top and then also one on the bottom. This comes in super handy on longer trips, especially ones where I'm going to be staying in one place for a few different nights. Getting this set up allows me to easily charge my phone and throw on my headphones and not think about it again. Now on to some miscellaneous tech items. There's a few things that I personally swear by that you might not think to toss in your bag today. The first one is actually an HDMI cable. Now this is an ultra thin one from Monoprice, and then I'll also bring along a dongle to adapt your phone or laptop to HDMI. For me, for a long time, that was this Lightning to HDMI adapter that I previously used with all of my other iPhones. But today, now that iPhones have moved over to USB-C, it's this small USB-C dongle that converts it to HDMI. There's a million different products out there just like this. But the important thing here is that you're saving yourself in those moments when entertainment might be limited. Now, there have been countless times where this has come in handy. The most obvious is when you find yourself in a hotel room and all you want to do is watch something from your phone, but you can't seem to get it on the darn hotel television because their whole IT setup was configured in 1989. Well, now with these in your pocket, as long as you've got your laptop or your phone and you can get to whatever the content is, you can just access any HDMI port on the TV and get your favorite show or movie on the big screen without too much hassle. No trying to log in to Netflix on that hotel TV, no dealing with finding the right number on the local channels to watch your television show. Just pull out your phone, plug it in, and you're good to go. Another miscellaneous addition that has come in handy on numerous occasions is having alternative charging cables. Most recently, this is a basic Lightning cable that I carry around. I don't need one anymore personally since I've switched fully to USB-C, but having the ability to charge someone else's phone, whether an iPhone or an Android, new or old, automatically makes you the most prepared person on the trip. Finally, I have always got some wired headphones. These are just basic old Apple headphones. You never know when you might need these on an airplane or in some other use case. I also have an AirTag in case I misplace my bag or if someone tries running off with it. Mine sits in this little holder from Belkin, which is super nice. And finally, I've got some non-tech essentials like a cleaning cloth, chapstick, ibuprofen, and a water bottle. That is just about it for what I carry in my tech travel bag. Some notable things that aren't in my bag would be a tablet. I've carried one at various times in my life, but haven't been able to justify it lately. I don't find myself needing a battery bank either, unless I'm going on an unusual trip that'll have me off the grid for an extended period. I don't bring big over-ear headphones since AirPods and other wireless earbuds have got plenty of ANC these days. And finally, I tend to leave my nice camera at home, opting just for the ease of cell phone photos when on the go. So what do you think? Are there items here that you would swap out for something else, or ones that you would maybe remove entirely, or entire categories that I missed, including that you would have in your bag? Please let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.